He cheated, but what I did next shocked him. The only light in the room was my laptop screen. Outside, a neon sign on the street blinked on and off through the window. I sat on the bed in my nightgown, scrolling through Enzo's messages he forgot to delete, or maybe he just didn't care enough to hide them. I stared at the screen. Baby, can't wait to see you again. Your place, 9 p.m. Wear that black lace thing I like. I read it twice, then a third time. My hands went still. I took a slow breath. His cologne was still on the pillow next to me, warm and familiar, like nothing had changed, like everything was fine. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the laptop at the wall, but I didn't. I set it down quietly, stood up, and walked to the mirror. My face looked calm, dark hair messy from sleep, lips a little open, eyes steady. No tears. Not yet. Maybe never. I picked up my phone and opened my photos. There we were, me and Enzo, laughing on a rooftop last month. His arm around me, my head thrown back, laughing like I didn't have a care in the world. A woman who had no idea. Then I heard it. The front door opened. Keys jingled. His voice came down the hall, low and tired. Zara, you awake? Bella. I didn't answer. Let him come to me. The bedroom door opened. There he was, shirt wrinkled, top buttons undone. His eyes found me right away, and he gave me a slow smile. Why are you sitting in the dark? He walked in, and I could smell it. Whiskey, and underneath that, perfume, her perfume. I didn't move. Long night? I asked. My voice was steady, easy, like I was just making small talk. He laughed a little, rubbed the back of his neck. Yeah, some last-minute thing at work. You know how it is. So smooth, so easy. I tilted my head, looking at him. You smell like you were somewhere else. His smile slipped, just for a second. What? Not work. I got up slowly and walked toward him. He went very still when I reached up and touched his face. My fingers brushed along his jaw. You smell like a woman, Enzo. He tensed up, but didn't move. I leaned close to his ear and whispered, was she worth it? He pulled back, like I'd burned him. His face went through 100 things at once. Guilt, panic, the look of a man who got caught. Zara, don't. I held up my hand. Don't say my name like that. Not after what you've been doing. He opened his mouth, closed it. It's not what? I stepped back and crossed my arms. Not what I think. Not a big deal. I let out a short laugh that had nothing funny in it. It's exactly what I think, and it is my business, because you made it my business. His face went white. How did you? Your phone? I pointed to the laptop on the bed. You left everything right there for me to find. You're sloppy. I kept looking at him, slow and steady. Tell me, did she beg for you? Did she moan? He swallowed hard. Zara, please what? Please forget what I read. Please pretend you're not texting another woman at 9 at night. My voice dropped. Or are you going to tell me it was a mistake? That it didn't mean anything? He said nothing. Good, I said, because I don't want to hear your excuses. I turned and walked toward the closet, making sure he was watching every step. You know what I want instead? His voice came out rough. What? I opened the closet and reached for the black leather bag in the back, the one he'd never seen. I want you to watch. I looked back at him, over my shoulder, because you're not the only one who knows how to play games, Enzo. He frowned. What are you? Sit down. I pointed to the armchair in the corner. For a second, I thought he'd say no, but then his shoulders dropped, and he walked to the chair and sat down heavy, like a man who already knew he had lost. Good. Let him feel it. I set the bag on the bed and unzipped it, slowly. His eyes didn't move from my hands. I reached in and pulled out the first thing, a pair of black lace garters. I held them up. You like these, right? I saw the message. Wear that black lace thing I like. I copied his voice, making it sound small. Funny, you never ask me to wear anything like this. His jaw went tight. I didn't wait for him to say anything. I slipped the garters up my legs, slow and smooth. Then the stockings, dark, with a seam up the back. I could feel him staring, his eyes on me like something that burned. You're enjoying this, he said. His voice was rough. I looked at him over my shoulder. Aren't you? He breathed in sharp. I reached back into the bag and pulled out the last thing, a black silk robe. I let my nightgown drop to the floor. I stood there in just the garters and stockings, then slowly put the robe on and tied it loose. Not too tight, just enough to make him wonder. His hands gripped the arms of the chair. "What are you doing? What does it look like?" I walked toward him, one slow step at a time. "I'm giving you a show." I stopped right in front of him, close enough to touch, since you like watching so much. His chest was going up and down faster now. His eyes were dark. "Zara." "Shh." I pressed one finger to his lips, then I dragged it slowly down his jaw, his throat, lower, until I could feel his heart beating fast. "You don't get to talk anymore." I reached for his belt and undid it in a few easy moves. "You only get to watch." He was already hard when I freed him. I stroked him once, twice, slow. "Someone's excited." I leaned close to his ear. "Does it feel good knowing I'm doing this because of her?" A low groan came out of him. His hips moved up on their own. I tightened my grip just enough to make him gasp, then let go and stepped back. He made a frustrated noise. "No," I said. "You don't get to finish yet. First, you're going to tell me everything." I reached into the bag one more time and pulled out my phone, and I mean everything. His eyes went wide when I hit record. "Zara, what are you?" "Her name," I said, calm and flat. "Where you saw her. How many times?" I tilted my head. "And if you lie, Enzo." I let him finish that thought himself. He was stuck, and I was just getting started. The silence between us was heavy. Enzo looked at my face, searching for something soft. He found nothing. "Her name," I said again, quieter this time. He looked at the floor. "Chiara." The word came out of him like he'd been holding it in for weeks. I let it sit there. "Chiara." I said it in my head. Pretty name. I hated it right away. "How long?" I asked. 4 months. 4 months. My mind went back without meaning to. 4 months ago was February. We were in Italy together in February. Positano. We sat on the terrace of a little hotel and drank limoncello and watched the sun go down over the water. He kissed my shoulder and told me I was everything to him. 4 months ago. I pushed the thought away. I couldn't fall into it right now. I needed to stay clear. "Where?" I asked. He finally looked up. His face was tired and ashamed, and underneath all that, something like relief. I'd seen it before, that look men get when they finally tell the truth. Like the lying was the heavy thing, not the cheating. "Her place, mostly," he said. Then he paused. "Once here." Something went cold in my chest. "Here," I said. "Zara, in this apartment." I took one slow step toward him. "In our bed." He looked down. I stood still. Outside the window, the neon sign blinked. Red, blue, red, blue. I thought about 3 weeks ago. I'd woken up and the sheets were wrong, tucked in tight on one corner, like someone had made the bed quickly and didn't know how I do it. I thought the cleaning woman had come early. I made coffee and forgot about it. I wouldn't forget now. "How many times did you bring her here?" My voice stayed calm. "Once, just once here, I swear." He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, head down, like he was praying for something. "I don't have an excuse. I know that." "No," I said. "You don't." I walked to the window and stood with my back to him, looking out at the city below. The lights were on everywhere. Cars moving, people walking, life going on like it always does. In the glass, I could see the reflection of the room. Enzo sitting small in the chair. The bed, the bag, me in my silk robe. I looked like I was in control. I didn't feel like it. It was more like the floor had dropped and I was still walking, like it hadn't. "Does she know about me?" I asked the window. A long pause. "Yes," I laughed, short and empty. Of course she did. She knew and she still showed up. I couldn't even be angry at her. She hadn't made me any promises. He had. "Get yourself together," I said. I heard him fix his clothes. The zipper, the belt, the small sounds of a man putting himself back in order. When I turned around, he was sitting up straight again, still a mess, but tidied. He looked at me with those dark eyes, the ones I fell for 3 years ago at a gallery opening, standing in front of a painting neither of us liked. He made me laugh that night. That was how it started. "What do you want me to do?" he asked. "Quiet. Tonight." I walked toward him and stopped just out of reach. I held up my phone so he could see it was still recording. "Tonight you're sleeping on the couch, and tomorrow you're going to think hard about what you want." He frowned a little. "What do you mean?" I looked at him for a long moment, the lines around his eyes the small scar by his left temple from falling off his bike as a kid. He told me that story once, in so much detail I felt like I was there. 3 years of knowing someone, 3 years of small details. I said slowly, you have a choice to make, and I'm not going to make it easier by screaming at you or begging you to explain yourself. I put my phone in my pocket. I'm also not going to act like tonight didn't happen and go back to normal tomorrow. I won't do that. I looked at him. That's what you were hoping for, isn't it? That we'd both just wake up and move on and never bring it up again. He said nothing. Go to the couch, Enzo. He stood up slowly, like every part of him was tired. He stopped when he reached me. We were close. I could feel the warmth coming off him, could smell him, the whiskey, the guilt, and under all of that, still him, the smell I knew before anything else. I'm sorry, he said, just those 2 words. I know you are, I said back. He waited, like he thought there was more coming, some kind of answer from me, forgiveness, or anger, or something he could hold on to. When nothing came, he walked past me and out the door. I heard him lie down on the couch. Then the apartment went quiet. I stayed where I was. Then I walked to the bed, pulled back my side of the covers, and lay down on top of them, robe on, stockings still on, staring at the ceiling. The neon blinked outside. I didn't sleep. By 6 in the morning I was up, showered, dressed, and sitting at the kitchen counter with coffee and my laptop when Enzo came out. He'd slept in his clothes. His eyes were puffy, and there was a crease down his cheek from the couch cushion. He looked at me like a man who had planned what to say and couldn't remember any of it. I closed my laptop. Coffee's on the counter. He poured a cup and stayed standing by the machine, holding it with both hands, watching me. It reminded me of how he used to look at me when we first started dating, like he was paying close attention, like I mattered. Did you sleep? He asked. A little. Not true. You. He shook his head. We sat in the quiet for a moment. Outside, the city was waking up, traffic starting, a truck somewhere, pigeons on the window ledge, normal sounds. The world outside had no idea. I ended it, Enzo said. I looked at him. When? This morning. Before I came out here. I texted her. He set his mug down and put both hands flat on the counter. I should have ended it a long time ago. I know that doesn't change anything. No, I said. It doesn't. But I needed you to know I did it. I looked at him for a long moment. The morning light was coming in thin and pale through the kitchen window. It showed everything. The tired lines on his face, a few grey hairs at his temples that weren't there 2 years ago, the look in his eyes of someone holding something back. I knew this face. I'd been waking up next to it for 3 years, and now I was standing across the counter from it, trying to figure out what came next. Why her? I asked. I wasn't trying to be mean. I actually wanted to know. He was quiet for a second. It was easy, he said, then quickly. Not like that. I mean, there was nothing heavy about it. She didn't know me well enough to expect things from me. With you, I always feel like one wrong step, and I'll lose everything. With her, there was nothing on the line. I took that in. It was more honest than I expected. It also said something about us, about how much pressure had built up between us, quietly, over the years. How we'd stopped being easy with each other without even noticing. That's not a reason, I said. I know. He looked at me. I'm not saying it was. I put my hands around my mug. I need you to leave today. I need a few days here on my own. I held up my hand before he could say anything. Not forever. I'm not saying that. I just need some space to think, without you in the room, without your stuff everywhere, without, I breathed out. I need room to figure out what I want, without you right in front of me, making it harder. He nodded slowly. Okay, you can stay at Marco's. His little brother, good at keeping his mouth shut. I'll call you when I'm ready. How long? I don't know. Maybe a week. Maybe less. I met his eyes. Don't reach out to her. Don't see her. If you do. I didn't finish it. I didn't need to. I won't, he said. And here's the thing. I believed him. That was the part that hurt the most. I still believed him. I didn't know yet if that made me foolish or just human. I'm going for a walk, I said. Have your bag packed before I'm back. I grabbed my keys, put my coat on, and walked out without looking back. Outside, it was cold and bright. February in the city. I could smell coffee from the bakery on the corner, and car exhaust, and the cold air off the river a couple of blocks away. I put my hands in my pockets and just walked, no direction, watching people go past. a woman with a little dog, a man in a suit looking at his phone, two teenagers sharing earphones, laughing about something, everyone getting on with their day. I found a bench near a dry fountain and sat down. The fountain was shut off for winter. Dead leaves sat in the empty basin. Here's what I knew. I loved Enzo. I had loved him for 3 years. The way I do everything, all in. My life hadn't been built around him. I was always my own person, but he had been threaded into my days. Losing him would leave a gap. Here's what else I knew. I wasn't going to be the woman who finds out and says nothing. I wasn't going to bury this and pretend it didn't happen and slowly turn hollow from the inside. I'd watched my mom do that. I promised myself a long time ago that I would rather be alone than fake. But here's what I didn't know. Whether love that gets broken can ever really hold again. Whether what we had before last night was still possible to get back. Or whether we'd both just always be waiting for the next crack to show. I took up my phone and stared at the recording. His voice. Her name. 4 months. I thought about keeping it. I thought about sending it to someone. But who? And for what? I already knew what happened. He already knew I knew. I deleted it. I sat a little longer, breathing the cold air, watching the sky. When I stood up, I didn't feel better, but I felt more steady, like the worst pressure had let out slowly, instead of all at once. I hadn't screamed. I hadn't broken. I had held myself together and faced it straight on. That meant something. My phone buzzed. Enzo, bags packed, leaving now. I'm sorry, Zara. I'll wait for you to call. I read it, put my phone away, started walking home. The bakery was open now. I went in and bought a croissant I didn't need and ate it outside, watching the cars go past. It was warm and flaky, and for a second, that was the only thing that mattered. One thing at a time, I told myself. I let myself back into the apartment. It was quiet. His shoes were gone from the door. His smell was still faintly in the air, but softer now, fading out. I stood in the bedroom doorway. He had made the bed before he left, tight and neat, the way he never normally did. A small thing, a quiet, sorry. I walked to the dresser and opened the top drawer. There was the photo from the rooftop, the one I'd printed and put in a little frame months ago. Both of us laughing, mid-sentence, on the best night of that whole summer. So easy, so uncomplicated. I picked it up, looked at it, then I laid it face down in the drawer and closed it gently. Not thrown away, not destroyed, just put aside, until I knew where I was going. I put on comfortable clothes, made fresh coffee, sat at the counter, and opened my laptop. I had work to do. I had a life to look after. And when I was ready, when things were clearer and I knew what I wanted, I would pick up the phone. Just not yet. For now the apartment was mine. The coffee was hot. The morning light came through the window, at the exact angle that had always made this place